On the first day of crossing into the wilderness, I was poisoned by wild berries. Yes, that's how useless the original owner was. Luckily, I arrived. My thunder witch body awakened, and my palm lightning roasted the venomous snake into meat skewers. All that's left by my side is a crying witch ant and a warrior who can barely hold a knife. Total tribe population, 3. I gave him the surname Tang. I established the Tang tribe. My aunt asked me about the tribe's future. I said, eat the fiercest divine beasts, with the most beautiful women, and let all races know who's the man at the top of the food chain. Right now, we're on our way to find salt. Without salt, we have no strength. How can we rule the wilderness? I died on the battlefield. Never even had a girlfriend, never broke my virginity. This regret stretches endlessly. In the darkness, I felt warmth. It was a very soft hand, gently pushing me. Wait, didn't I die? Is this the underworld? Long, wake up. A woman's voice was crying. It wasn't the Chinese language engraved in my bones. It wasn't any language on earth either, but I could understand it. I slowly opened my eyes. A cave. Above my head were all glowing stones. Then I saw a large expanse of bare skin. Did female ghosts from the underworld not wear clothes? A woman wrapped only in animal skin crouched beside me. With feathers in her hair disheveled as she wept. She was actually quite good looking. ZZZT. Suddenly the whole cave flashed with purple light. I looked down and saw purple arcs all over my body, like I was Thor descending to earth. It didn't hurt. I just felt a cold energy circulate through my body once and sink into my dantian. Then I saw my own bones, blood vessels, organs all crystal clear. I was stunned. This was the legendary inner vision. The dantian was filled with purple thunder, and there was a phantom well that sucked all the thunder in. Inside the well, something purple was swimming ahead like an ox, horns like a deer, eyes like a shrimp, neck like a snake, belly like a snake, scales like a fish, claws like a phoenix. This was a dragon, even if it looked a bit strange. Drip! A drop of green liquid fell from the thunder well, and the breath of life surged up from my dantian. A flood of information burst into my mind. Life elixir can save anyone as long as they aren't dead on the spot. Suddenly, I could also see strange things with my eyes. The air was filled with colors gold, green, blue. Information flooded into my mind. Spiritual energy, this is the thunderclap eye. From then on, I could see in the dark, distinguish truth from lies, and recognize treasures. I opened my palm, and a wisp of purple lightning appeared in it. Heavens! You've awakened the thunder sorcerer physique, a physique never seen in the great wilderness. The woman's eyes lit up like bulbs. I withdrew the lightning and smiled bitterly. The great wilderness. I looked at myself, only a piece of animal skin wrapped around my waist, everything else bare. The wind made my bare skin cold. A sudden rush of unfamiliar memories flooded my mind. This was a primeval world, all virgin forests, ferocious beasts everywhere, people still living in tribal times. They wore animal skins, used stone tools, and survived by hunting. In the tribe, there were shamans with supernatural powers, the most respected people. My name is Tang Long. I'm 15 years old, the young chief of a small tribe, a bit slow, and I've never left the tribe. A month ago, a great flood came and submerged the tribe. All the clansmen were scattered. This woman is my biological aunt, the tribe's shaman. There's also a warrior who protected me as I fled here. I was starving, so I took the warrior and ate some wild fruits. We got poisoned and died. Then I transmigrated here. The warrior is still lying on the ground, his face green and his whole body twitching. He's on the verge of death. I let out a sigh. Luckily, my lightning power can purify toxins. I reached out and pressed my hand on the warrior's head. Purple electric currents flowed in, crackling. The warrior trembled violently from the electricity. Green toxic gas seeped out from his body. After a moment, the poison was cleansed. Although the warrior was still shaking, his breathing grew stronger. I withdrew my hand. I pondered my lightning ability. First, it can discharge electrical attacks, causing paralysis and burns. But for now, it can't attack at a distance, it must make contact. Second, it can purify poison. Third, it can roast meat. That's right, the electric current can quickly cook meat, clean and hygienic. It's practically a godly skill for wilderness survival. Boom! Suddenly a loud sound echoed in my mind. Inheriting human civilization, The Beacon Library opens. A sweet voice rang in my mind, and I saw a massive library appear before me, with a plaque bearing 5 golden characters. Spark of Civilization Library. I moved my thoughts. Inside, books were neatly arranged by category: philosophy, history, architecture, metallurgy, shipbuilding, astronomy, geography, military affairs. I tried to find a book on witchcraft. Sorry, please wait. It might be available later, but not now. Meaning the library still needs to be upgraded. I moved my thoughts again to find a book on forging knives. A massive book appeared before me. 100 Ways to Forge a Knife. The book flipped open like an electronic screen, clearly detailing 100 forging methods. I asked the woman, "Do you see anything in front of me?" She glanced at me strangely. Nothing at all. A flame flickered at her fingertip, turning into a tiny, dancing figure. She had awakened the flame, which physique. The little flame figure circled around me once and found nothing. Her eyes suddenly lit up. "Did you just receive a revelation from the gods?" I gave a wry smile. "I suppose so. Transmigrating into a primitive man, granted a library filled with scientific books. It seems the gods sent me to lead civilization. In the legends of the great wilderness, shamans are the ones closest to the gods. I've just awakened my shaman body and received a library. Is this divine guidance? The dragon tribe is destroyed. What should we do now?" she asked me seriously. "I am now the young chief and have awakened the shaman body, so I have the right to decide the tribe's future. Rebuild the tribe?" She was stunned. "Just us 3? Just 3? She thought for a long time, then finally nodded. "Then give a tribe a surname. In the great wilderness, tribes without surnames are either branches abandoned by the main clan or those with too many enemies that dare not show their faces. Let's call it Tang tribe. The clan members take Tang as their surname. Descendants of the Tang dynasty in foreign lands are called Tang people, and their settlements are called Chinatown. Today, I am in the wilderness, and the tribe I build is called Tang tribe. The clan members are called Tang people. You are the chief. Give us names. From now on, you will be called Tang Wu, the tribe's shaman. The warrior will be called Tang Zhan, the tribe's warrior chief." Tang Wu pursed her lips and smiled. 3 people, 1 chief, 1 shaman, 1 warrior chief, but no clan members. I'm still alive." Tang Zhan woke up. First, he touched his balls to make sure they were still there, then relaxed. He had been poisoned and thought he was doomed. "Clan chief, am I really the warrior chief now?" he asked tentatively. I nodded. "From now on, you're the warrior chief of the Tang tribe." His eyes turned red. In the original tribe, the older warriors bullied him for being young and didn't give him any position. Now he had become the core of the tribe. Though he didn't have a single warrior under him, did that matter? Gurgle. The 3 of us all had growling stomachs. We looked at each other and burst out laughing. As we laughed, Tang Wu started crying. Who knew if the tribe members could survive the flood? Survive first, then find them. Tang Zhan picked up the only stone knife. The warrior chief went out of the cave to hunt. In the evening, the setting sun was like blood. Before me stretched an endless primeval forest, trees so large that dozens of people were needed to encircle them, vines everywhere. I climbed a big tree. Standing at the top, I looked into the distance. There were huge mountain ranges and waterfalls cascaded down from the mountain streams. Countless enormous ferocious birds frolicked among the high mountains, diving down to snatch giant beasts and soaring into the air. The roars of beasts were filled with killing intent. What era was this? There was no path in the forest, only weeds and strange trees. Tang Zhan led the way, slashing through grass and guarding against poisonous insects, moving very slowly. A long, slender thing shot toward them from the front, a great wasteland venomous snake. It had scales, a horn on its head like a small flood dragon, as thick as an arm and at least 3 meters long. The snake's mouth lunged at Tang Zhan's neck. He swung his blade downward, but missed the snake's head, grazed his sword, and its fangs were already at his neck. Tang Zhan closed his eyes. I sighed, my hand shooting out like lightning, crackling with thunder and electricity. The venomous snake collided with my electric current. It twitched in the air a few times, then fell limply to the ground, giving off a fragrant, meaty smell. I picked up the snake barbecued snake meat. How convenient. Tang Zhan turned away awkwardly. Thank you, chieftain, for saving my life. I dangled the snake in front of his eyes. Now we have food, chieftain. This venomous snake is bright green, the deadliest kind. Eating it would kill you. I ignored him, removing the head, tail, and innards, and cut the snake meat into 3 sections. The best 2 segments were given to Tang Wu and Tang Zhan. I pinched off a piece for myself and threw it into my mouth. It was truly delicious. Don't worry, the lightning has already purified the poison. Tang Zhan took a bite and almost swallowed his tongue. After downing 3 pieces of snake meat, he wasn't as hungry. Suddenly, a crocodile-sized creature burst out from the grass 8 legs. The front 2 like giant scissors gleaming coldly in the dark, its tail raised with a curved green venomous stinger. A giant scorpion. In my past life, I had eaten scorpions during jungle training, but I had never seen one the size of a crocodile. With a thought, I entered the Xinhua library to look up scorpion information. Encyclopedia of Earth Scorpions. I flipped to a page. Emperor Scorpion of Africa. About 40 centimeters long, 50% similarity. 40 centimeters versus 2 or 3 meters, that's in the same ballpark. The scorpion attacked Tang Zhan directly. This time, Tang Zhan was steady. He had almost been killed by a snake earlier, which was too embarrassing. If he couldn't even take down this scorpion, would the clan chief strip him of his warrior leader position? Venomous beast, D. Dang Dan Zhao. The fight was fierce, but he couldn't break through the scorpion's hard shell. I made a move myself. My hand shot out like a ghost and pressed down on the scorpion's shell. Tang Zhan quickly jumped back. The clan leader's lightning was indiscriminate once it touched. Purple currents surged into the scorpion's body, stiffening it completely, and once again, it turned into grilled meat. I released my hands, my mind dizzy. My lightning power was spent. The thunder dragon in my dantian had faded from deep purple to pale lavender. I sat down cross-legged. The wizard's ability required meditation to recover. What if I used the breathing techniques of hard qigong to meditate? In this end of Dharma era, hard qigong couldn't cultivate true qi, it only trained muscle hardness. In his memory, the way warriors in the great wilderness tempered their bodies was simple. They trained by hitting trees, punching trees, lifting stones, striking stones, and other crude methods. This wild land was filled with spiritual energy. Could practicing tough body art generate true qi? Tang Long felt a flicker of excitement. He calmed his mind and began breathing rhythmically according to the tough body art's breathing and exhalation techniques. Suddenly, a stream of cool air surged into his crown chakra at the top of his head, flowing through his meridians and into his dantian. The light purple thunder dragon deepened in color by fraction. Qi sensation. Tang Long was overjoyed. He had finally felt the qi sensation. That stream of cool air was true qi. With the breathing technique of tough body art, and combined with the body tempering methods from special forces, the Tang tribe had a unique system for training warriors. This was the peerless divine art that would allow the Tang tribe's warriors to grow stronger. It would continuously produce super warriors. His heart burned with passion. Could this spiritual, energy-rich great wilderness be a paradise for martial artists? Soon after, the thunder dragon within his dantian had turned back to a deep purple. True qi filled his entire dantian to the brim. Tang Long circulated the qi throughout his body. His bronze-colored skin brightened considerably. The shade deepened slightly, as if coated with a layer of copper powder. He picked up a hard stone and slammed it fiercely against his own stomach. Clang! The hard stone struck as if hitting metal, even emitted a sound of metal clashing. Tang Long confirmed that he had initially mastered the hard qigong. His body's resistance to blows had greatly increased. Moreover, his physical strength had just grown significantly. Instinctively, it felt close to 2,000 Jin. Now he was at the peak of a first-level Fang warrior. Tang Wu and Tang Zhan looked at Tang Long with strange expressions. Tang Zhan's mind was a jumbled mess. Why did the clan chief hit himself with a stone? Tang Wu, on the other hand, looked deep in thought. The sound that came from Long just now was really strange. Tang Long did not explain. He stood up with a smile. "I've recovered. Let's eat. Tang Dan Tuka. Young chieftain, I've never eaten this before." "How do you eat it?" Tang Long asked, a little surprised. Didn't people in primitive times eat anything? How could they not have eaten such a fine ingredient as scorpion? Tang Wu's eyelashes trembled slightly. This scorpion is extremely venomous. In the past, many people died from eating it. After that, no one dared to eat it anymore. This giant scorpion is full of poisonous qi. If we hadn't purified it with lightning, it would indeed have killed people. Tang Long reached out and touched it. In a moment, the roasted scorpion had already cooled down. Purple electric currents appeared on his fingertips again. Let's heat it up again. He purified it again. This time, he felt his control over the purple currents was more precise, and his usage more proficient. The giant scorpion became steaming hot again, with a rich meaty aroma. Tang Long broke off 2 huge front claws, handed one to Tang Wu and the other to Tang Zhan. The two took them with smiles. The chieftain of the Tang tribe holds the highest authority. The order in which he distributes food reflects the power hierarchy of the tribe. Tang Wu is second, Tang Zhan is third. Ha ha! Tang Zhan let out a few simple-minded chuckles. Before he knew it, he had become the third most important figure in the tribe. Life is truly full of hope. Now, he gets to sit beside the chieftain every day, receiving food personally handed out by the chieftain. As a warrior, this is the greatest honor. Tang Zhan had completely forgotten the fact that the Tang tribe only had 3 people. As the glorious leader of the warriors, he resolved to dedicate himself entirely to the tribe, even unto death. The 3 of them ate with great enjoyment. The delicious meat turned into warmth in their stomachs, filling them with vitality. The 3 ate in slightly different ways. Tang Zhan took a big bite of the giant scorpion's claw. Crack! He almost broke his teeth. 2 rows of white tooth marks were left on the scorpion's claw. The claw remained perfectly intact. Tang Zhan instantly flew into a rage. He moved a large stone over. Lifting the stone knife, he smashed it fiercely. Finally, he cracked the giant scorpion's claw, revealing the white, tender scorpion meat inside. He quickly tossed a piece into his mouth. It was tender and smooth, with a sweet fragrance lingering between his teeth. The wonderful sensation stimulated his taste buds, making him want to moan a few times. Tang Wu, on the other hand, snapped his fingers. A wisp of flame appeared on his index finger, slowly melting the scorpion shell. Eating very elegantly, Tang Long found this which fire quite interesting. It seemed to have a very high temperature. Maybe melting metal should be left to Ah Wu in the future? The 3 of them had astonishing appetites. Even after removing the venom glands and organs, the 2 to 3 meter long giant scorpion still weighed over 100 pounds. The 3 of them managed to finish it all. They patted their stomachs, content and satisfied. It felt good to have a full stomach. Tang Wu's eyes reddened. Mist veiled her eyes, as if recalling something sorrowful. Tang Long asked, puzzled, "Oh, why are you sad?" Tang Wu rubbed her cheeks, wiped the corners of her eyes, and said sorrowfully, "In my memory, I haven't had a full meal for a very, very long time. It's truly too hard to live in this great wilderness." Tang Zhan lowered his head, as if also reminded of something. He suddenly raised his head and said, "Oh, don't be sad. The chieftain possesses the power of thunder. Whenever he sees a ferocious beast, he roasts it. From now on, we'll have endless food." Puff! Tang Wu burst out laughing. All you know is eating." Tang Long also comforted her. "Oh, trust in Long. I'll take you to taste all the delicacies of the great wilderness." Tang Wu not det vigo du sin. All believes you. Tang Wu felt much more at ease. Ever since Long awakened his Wu body, there was an aura of authority about him. It was truly amazing. Meow, meow, meow. Suddenly, several cat cries came from the empty forest. Tang Long was startled. This is impossible. He looked toward the source of the sound. It was a ferocious beast the size of an adult tiger. It had 2 long tails. Its eyes gleamed with ferocity. Tang Zhan exclaimed, "A second-level beast. Wind spirit cat?" This beast was fluffy. Its big round eyes were full of killing intent. Its head was round, with ears standing upright. It had long whiskers on its cheeks and brows. Its eyes were large and round, with a faint green glow in the pupils. Its teeth were as sharp as knives. Its body was slender, and its limbs looked very agile. It should be good at speed. It had 5 toes on its front paws and 4 on its hind paws. Each toe had sharp, pointed claws. They gleamed with a dark, cold light. Tang Long could hardly believe his eyes. This beast was so enormous. It couldn't possibly be what he had in mind. With a thought, he had the Xinhua library compare this beast before him. A series of images flashed before his eyes. They froze on a cute picture. Persiancat, 13% similarity. Description: Persian cats are graceful in demeanor, charming in appearance, and are known as the prince or princess of cats. Tang Long felt a hint of melancholy. Xinhua Library, are you serious? If you told me this huge beast was a tiger, I'd believe you. But saying it's a cat, that's going too far. Have you ever seen a Persian cat the size of a tiger that wants to eat people? You are you. You are you. Tang Zhan opened his mouth and let out a fierce, strange roar. This was the most primal form of intimidation. He just hoped this was a timid swift-wind spirit cat. That would be scared off. But as it turned out, this swift-wind spirit cat was quite bold. They were here to hunt them. The swift-wind spirit cat crept closer with hunting steps. Its stance suggested it was about to attack. Tang Zhan's face turned pale. He gritted his teeth and said, "Chieftain, Awu, you two go quickly. I'll hold off this beast. Once it eats me, it'll be full. And you can escape." Tang Long said calmly, "You're the warrior chief of the Tang tribe. How could we possibly abandon you?" Tang Wu said solemnly, "We've lived and died together for so long. We won't leave. So I really matter that much to them." Tang Zhan's heart steadied. He said resolutely, "Then I'll kill this beast and pull out its fang to hang around my neck." A powerful aura suddenly erupted from him, the blood energy of a warrior. Meow. The swift-wind spirit cat suddenly launched an attack, leaving several afterimages in the woods as it moved. The cat's claws came straight at Tang Zhan. "Well done." Tang Zhan raised his stone knife and slashed. He directly engaged the swift-wind spirit cat in a fierce fight. In the blink of an eye, several gashes were torn on his body by the cat's claws. But none of the strikes hit his vital spots. Tang Zhan's speed was far inferior to the swift-wind spirit cat's. However, his exceptional predictive ability narrowed the gap in combat power slightly. The reason the swift-wind spirit cat was formidable was because of its incredibly high speed. Ordinary humans and beasts could not withstand it. This follows the same principle as in martial arts under heaven. Only speed is unbeatable. Awu now. Tang Zhan suddenly let out a loud roar. The stone knife heavily struck the swift-wind spirit cat's sharp claws, causing the spirit cat's movement to stall for a moment. Tang Wu lunged out like a gust of wind. His blazing fire hand touched the swift-wind spirit cat. The ambush succeeded. Wu fire output at full power. Flames erupted from the swift-wind spirit cat's body, soaring into the sky, like a bundle of ignited dry firewood. Meow, meow, meow. It was the human sorcerer. The Gale spirit cat let out a miserable cry. It was instantly severely wounded, its body covered in burns. The Gale spirit cat retreated like the wind, breaking away from the battle, its cat eyes red as it stared at Tang Long and the other two. Its once beautiful feline body was now scorched black, looking utterly disheveled. Meow, meow, meow. The Gale spirit cat was furious beyond measure. One of its tails suddenly burst open, turning into a surge of blood aura that wrapped around its body. It looked extremely bloody. Tang Wu said in a deep voice, "A Gale spirit cat has 1 life per tail. Now it's sacrificing a tail with blood to heal its injuries." Everyone be careful. Tang Long's heart sank. Had the ferocious beasts of this wilderness become spirits? Kill! Tang Zhan let out a great roar, charging forward with his stone blade raised. We must not give the Gale spirit cat any time to heal. Boom! A flash of blood-red light appeared on the swift-wind spirit cat, and another beautiful swift-wind spirit cat appeared before the 3 of them. This time, the swift-wind spirit cat didn't tangle with Tang Zhan. Instead, it dashed straight toward Tang Long, who was standing to the side. In its spiritual sense, this human seemed much weaker, making him a perfect target for its attack. The fluffy head of the swift-wind spirit cat appeared before Tang Long. 2 dark, gleaming claws reached out. Its mouth wide open, it lunged to bite as well. The cat would rip this human open, bite his neck clean off, to avenge the burning it had suffered. Tang Long let out a soft sigh. This beast had quite a bit of intelligence. Too bad it picked the wrong person. A sharp glint flashed in his eyes. His blood energy surged like clouds, and he punched a fist straight into the swift-wind spirit cat's mouth. The swift-wind spirit cat rejoiced. First, it would bite off this foolish human's hand. Its fangs fell like swords. The moment its fangs touched, a tingling numbness spread through its body. Its strength instantly drained away, its body completely out of control. Then a terrifying surge of heat flooded every part of its being. This heat seared through its flesh, bones, meridians, and fur. The Gale Spirit Cat was horrified. Another human wizard. Terror gripped the Gale Spirit Cat. Now it only wanted to flee, but the human wizard's hand seemed to hold an endless suction, locking it firmly in place. Struggling was futile. The Gale Spirit Cat felt hopeless. This cat misjudged the situation. Moments later, the Gale Spirit Cat lost consciousness and fell heavily to the ground, crushing a patch of grass. This Tier 2 fierce beast was truly troublesome. If all three were pure warriors like Tang Zhan, they would likely have died under its claws. Unfortunately, this cat was out of luck, encountering two sorcerers at once. Burned and electrocuted, it was a miserable sight. However, Tang Long had also exhausted his lightning power. Severely overdrawn, Tang Zhan ran over with a beaming smile. The young chief is truly formidable. This is a second-level ferocious beast. The energy in its beast meat can enhance strength. One slash of his blade. What's a second-level ferocious beast? Wasn't it still taken down by the young chief? Hold on, don't kill it. Tang Wu suddenly stopped him. Tang Zhan quickly pulled back his strength, almost twisted his own waist. He asked in confusion why. Tang Wu said, "This ferocious beast is quite intelligent. I have a sorcery skill that can tame it into a guardian spirit beast for the tribe." A glint of interest flashed in Tang Long's eyes. He probed, "Oh, does every sorcerer have the skill to tame spirit beasts?" Tang Wu saw through his thoughts at a glance. This is the talent of a fire sorcerer. You probably don't have this sorcery technique. Tang Long was somewhat disappointed. What a pity, a Persian cat the size of a tiger, capable of being cute and fighting alike. Just thinking about it is fascinating. However, you can subdue those intelligent, fierce beasts by force, then suppress them with absolute power. Take them as your own spirit beast. Tang Wu gave him a glimmer of hope. Tang Long's depression remained unresolved. Why must I use violence to tame fierce beasts? Tang Zhan's eyes lit up. He asked, "Can I subdue a spirit beast purely with strength?" Tang was silent for a long time. She had a vague premonition of bad things to come. The Tang tribe would inevitably have countless entanglements with fierce beasts in the future. She said uncertainly, "Probably, it can be done." Tang Zhan clenched his fists tightly, punching fiercely into the air. "Fierce beasts, wait for your warrior chief to conquer you." Tang Wu crouched down, biting her own finger. He drew a complex rune on the swift-wind spirit cat's forehead. She murmured in a language Tang Long couldn't understand, both sacred and eerie, filled with a sense of mystery. The rune on the swift-wind spirit cat's forehead suddenly turned into flames, shaped exactly like the spirit cat itself, and flew into Tang Wu's eyes before disappearing. Tang Wu said with a slight smile, "This swift-wind spirit cat has excellent talent. It's about to evolve its third tail. With a Tier 3 spirit beast in the tribe, we can better protect the clan." Tang Long felt a surge of envy. As the chieftain of the Tang tribe, he would need to subdue a Tier 3 or higher ferocious beast through force. Meow, meow, meow. The swift-wind spirit cat awoke quickly, the fierceness in its eyes gone. It limped over to Tang Wu and acted coy, like a giant house cat. Tang Long began to collect his spoils of war. The leftover, giant scorpion shell. The impurities had been expelled by the electric current. The carapace had become even harder, enough to forge a set of leather armor for Tang Zhan. Suddenly, his mind jolted. The female voice from the Xinhua library came through. Storage function: the library can store items, and they never spoil. Tang Long was overjoyed. With a thought, the carapace in his hand vanished. It appeared in a corner of the library. With another thought, the carapace was back in his hand. It was very convenient to use. Tang Long and Tang Wu were quite astonished. Tang Wu's eyelashes fluttered twice lightly. "Is this a Wu technique?" Tang Long lifted his head. "Glancing auto mio," he said proudly. "This too is my unique Wu technique." Tang Wu pursed her lips into a smile, shook her head helplessly. The chief still hasn't grown up in some ways. The fire of envy burned fiercely in Tang Zhan's eyes. He suddenly shouted, I want to awaken my Wu body too. I want to have a Wu technique as well. Tang Long smiled mysteriously. Testing the waters, he said, I have a method that can awaken your Wu body. Are you willing to learn? Tang Zhan was overjoyed. Chieftain, teach me. Tang Long was noncommittal. However, this method is somewhat painful. Are you confident you can endure it? Tang Zhan thought seriously for a moment. As long as I can awaken the Wu body, I, Zhan, can endure all pain. Tang Long nodded in relief. This method is actually quite cruel for you. Tang Long asked, Are you afraid? Tang Zhan patted his chest confidently and said, I have grown up amidst cruel pain since I was a child. Chieftain, just teach me. A hint of a meaningful smile curled at the corner of Tang Long's mouth. It was you yourself who said you're not afraid of pain, and that you don't fear cruelty. Keep it up, future super warrior Tang Zhan. That Tang Zhan had a very keen sense of danger. His bones were well proportioned, strong, and powerful. He was a martial arts genius. Tang Long decided to teach him to practice hard qigong, grappling, fighting, and assassination skills, reconnaissance, and capture of prisoners. It didn't matter whether he could awaken his witch body and become a witch. What mattered was that he must not fear hardship or pain. Only then could he become a super soldier. Tang Long encouraged him with meaningful words. The chieftain believes you can do it. Tang Zhan's passion suddenly surged. The chieftain trusted him more and more. Chieftain, should we continue moving forward now? Tang Zhan asked for instructions. Tang Wu said, This forest is the territory of the swift wind spirit cat. We should be safe here, but it's unclear what lies ahead. Tang Long frowned and said, A Wu, asked the spirit cat, Are there any salt mines in this forest? Salt is very important for humans. It is crucial for the Tang tribe, which has no salt. Without salt, people have no strength. Without strength, they cannot survive in this desolate wilderness. After a moment, Tang Wu said, Swift Wind Spirit Cat said it's not far from here. There is a very salty place. In the great wasteland, herbivorous ferocious beasts usually seek out places rich in salt to dwell. When they need to take in salt, they go and lick it. As for carnivorous ferocious beasts, besides absorbing salt from the meat and bones of their prey, they sometimes also go to lick it to maintain their strength. The place Swift Wind Spirit Cat mentioned should have salt. This information is very important. Tang Long said with a firm gaze. Let South go find the place where the salt is. Tang Wu and Tang Zhan had no objections. Salt concerns their life and death. It must be just as essential as food and water. However, the salt they had eaten before was both bitter and astringent, and had all sorts of strange flavors. They wondered how the salt this Swift Wind Spirit Cat found would be. The Swift Wind Spirit Cat recovered quickly. Not long after, its second tail grew back. The scorched fur on its body was also slowly mending. Tang Long hacked off 2 sturdy branches with his stone blade, sharpened one end, and handed one to Tang Wu. It could be used as a weapon, or as a walking stick. The Gale Spirit Cat led the way. The 3 of them and the beast advanced toward the salt land. The forest was teeming with ferocious beasts. The journey was difficult, but Tang Zhan was now full of fighting spirit. He would pounce on any beast he saw with a roar. First beat the beast half to death, then intimidate it, saying, Do you submit? Are you willing to become my spirit beast? The ferocious beast remained unmoved. Its eyes gleamed with ferocity, still stubborn, which infuriated Tang Zhan. I am the warrior chief of the Tang tribe. You beast, you have no eyes to recognize a true master. Kill. Tang Long was speechless. What kind of standards did Tang Zhan have? How could he fancy such an ugly beast? Was he going to keep it around to scare people? Tang Wu's mouth twitched. She had misled Tang Zhan in some way. Or perhaps Tang Zhan had misunderstood something. Boom! A beast the size of an ox crashed to the ground. Its shape was very much like a giant lizard. Its body was covered entirely in cyan scales. Tang Zhan was unwilling to accept it taming a spirit beast was just that hard. Tang Long had a thought. He requested the Xinhua library to compare and identify what kind of beast this was. Comparison result, Big Gecko. Similarity, 30%. Brief introduction, Big Gecko. Tokay gecko, the largest species of gecko, with a body length of about 12 to 16 centimeters, a tail length of 10 to 14 centimeters, and a weight of 50 to 100 grams. Tang Long stared at the comparison result in silence. His heart felt as if 10,000 geckos were crawling over it. A big gecko is only about the size of a palm, but this beast was as big as an ox. It weighed at least 1,000 gene. Are you sure this is a gecko? The Persian cats in this great wilderness are the size of adult tigers, and the geckos here are the size of oxen. If encountering real tigers and cows, how big would they be? Scary to think about. Were all ancient beasts that huge? Are there any legendary mythical beasts here? Dragons as big as mountains. Phoenixes that can burn the heavens and earth. Cheilants with immense strength. The mysterious and unfathomable great wilderness. Tang Zhan reluctantly hoisted the beast and headed toward the creek to clean and store the beast so that they would never fear hunger again. Seeing Tang Zhan easily carry the 1,000-gene beast, Tang Long's mood suddenly improved a lot. Although the beasts of the great wilderness are terrifying, people's physical fitness is also very strong. In later ages, a professional boxer who could punch with 500 kilograms of force was already considered a top expert. Tang Zhan is only a first-level beast Fang warrior, yet he can deliver a punch with 1,000 gene of force. In his memory, those third-level warriors can reach 5,000 gene of force. What kind of concept is that? It's the power to blow up an elephant with one punch, and to send a rhinoceros flying with a single kick. Young patriarch, there are many vicious fish and shrimp here. Come quickly and clear them out. Tang Zhan stood by the stream, shouting in frustration. The stream was about 3 meters wide, half a person deep, and the water was very clear. You could see the algae, fish, and shrimp inside. The fish were only about the size of a palm, but they looked extremely ferocious and menacing. On their backs were rows of coldly gleaming barbs, and their mouths were full of fine, interlocking teeth. They kept snapping at the small fish and shrimp in the water, and blood was oozing out everywhere. There were also vicious giant shrimp in the water, as long as an arm, their bodies covered in barbs. 2 huge front claws raised high. They looked like ironclad fortresses. Tang Zhan didn't dare to enter the water. The rotten fish and wicked shrimp in the water were also ferocious, and anyone who went into the water would be attacked. When he was young, he jumped into a small stream without knowing the depth. The 2 eggs between his legs were almost bitten off, leaving an indelible shadow in his heart. Tang Long jumped directly into the water. The ferocious fish immediately rushed over menacingly. The sharp teeth in its mouth sent chills down one's spine. ZZ, purple electric arcs flashed on his body, spreading across the entire water surface. For a time, mist swirled over this area. Fish and shrimp jumped chaotically. The water surface seemed to boil. Soon, the water surface was covered with dead fish and shrimp. The underwater world was quiet. Tang Long threw all these aquatic products into the Xinhua library. Finally, he could cook some fish soup to drink. These past few days, they had also dug up some wild vegetables, but there was no pot to cook them in, nor had they had any soup to drink. Their stomachs felt very dry. Tang Zhan's eyes were full of joy. The chief's warehouse has new goods again. The patriarch said his warehouse is huge. It can store countless amounts of food, and it won't spoil either. He and Tang Wu were very excited. In the past, the hot weather would spoil the food every year. The tribe simply couldn't store food. As a result, they had no reserves. When it turned cold, the ferocious beasts would hide in their caves and not come out. Finding no food every year due to insufficient supplies, people would starve to death. Winter was coming. If they started storing food from now on, maybe this year they wouldn't go hungry during winter. Tang Wu stood by the shore. A hint of delight appeared on her pretty face. Long's witch technique is really impressive. He lit a bonfire by the stream, cut a piece of meat, and grilled it over the fire, waiting for Tang Long to take over the barbecue work. Though the electric grilled meat they'd been eating recently was clean, it lacked the smoky, human touch. So, through Tang Long's constant experimentation, he had already perfected his signature barbecue. First, sear the beast meat halfway with electric current, then grill it over the fire. This way, the meat won't burn from overcooking, nor will it be raw and tough inside. The taste is absolutely delicious. Tang Long took a refreshing bath, then walked to a quiet spot upstream to look at his reflection in the water. This was the first time he saw his own appearance, and it felt a bit unfamiliar. In the water was a handsome young lad, with striking features and bright white teeth when he smiled. He He looked very approachable. Tang Long's mood instantly lifted. He was much more handsome than in his previous life. Tang Wu finally couldn't stand it anymore. The meat is about to burn, and this guy is still staring at his own reflection. Is he going to eat this meat or not? Long, have you been bewitched by a water spirit? The meat is about to burn. I'm checking if there are any more water creatures in here. Coming right away. He couldn't even take a moment to admire his handsome appearance. The clan leader didn't have any personal time at all. Not only did he have to help fight ferocious beasts, but he also had to be responsible for making food. This was too difficult. The Tang tribe had to expand. Otherwise, being the clan leader was no fun. He jumped ashore and pulled out a white bone knife. This was made from the shoulder blade of a ferocious beast he had polished. Very hard and sharp. Tang Long grabbed the tangled long hair behind his head. With one cut, his head felt refreshed. The short strands gently brushed against his face. He grinned, and his looks improved even more. With a thought, he took out a set of beast hide clothes from the Ember Library. It was a beast hide vest and a pair of shorts reaching the knees, made by him while on night watch out of boredom. Living wrapped in beast hide was too miserable. Not only was it ugly, but also impractical. He always felt his balls were cold down there. Moreover, poisonous snakes in the forest love to bite things that dangle. It's incredibly frustrating. Now, with the big vest and big shorts, they provide much better coverage. In the future, Tang's beast hide vest and shorts will surely become popular across the great wilderness. Tang Long is very confident. The big vest and big shorts are made by Tang Long from the hides of hunted ferocious beasts. They are sewn using bone needles and beast sinew. His needlework is very good. The sinew stitches are beautifully done. This comes from the self-reliance training during his time in the military. He used electric current to purify the hides. The effect is very good. Now the hides are not only clean, but also very soft. This lightning power is truly miraculous. It directly saves dozens of steps in turning raw hides into leather. Tang Long hid behind a large tree. When he came out after changing, his appearance had greatly changed. His entire demeanor underwent a dramatic transformation. Tang Wu could no longer care about the meat roasting on the fire. She circled around him a few times. A strange light flickered in her eyes. Tang Long is so handsome, he will surely marry a very beautiful wife in the future. Tang Wu laughed. Tang Long felt a bit embarrassed. He was only 15 years old. Tang Wu spread her hands and said, "What about mine?" Tang Long knew he couldn't hide it from her. He took out a set of vests and shorts that fit her size and said, "I've already sewn them for you." Tang Wu's eyes lit up. Her smile turned into crescent moons. "You go watch the barbecue. I'll go upstream to bathe and change into the animal skin clothes." Tang Long said a bit worriedly, "Oh Wu, don't you need me to clean the fish and shrimp in the stream?" Tang Wu's smile bloomed like a flower. "No need. I have Big Meow. It will eat up all the fish and shrimp in the stream." Tang Long suddenly realized, with that amphibious Big Meow around, he indeed didn't need to do anything. The swift wind spirit cat followed Tang Wu with dignified steps, feeling a bit smug. When this cat enters the water, those little fish and shrimp better swim fast. Otherwise, there's no fun in hunting. Meow, meow, meow. From the stream came the unrestrained roar of Big Cat. It sounded very joyful. Tang Zhan stopped what he was doing, stretched his neck long to look upstream. Even though he couldn't see anything, he still refused to give up. He also stopped the work in his hands. Tang Long finally couldn't stand this wretch's demeanor and kicked him into the stream. Could this guy have some designs on? Oh, a huge splash erupted in the stream. Tang Zhan floated lifelessly on the water surface. He looked up at the sky and murmured, "How I wish I were that swift wind spirit cat by her side." Tang Long felt a tightness in his chest. He almost couldn't catch his breath. What to do when I want to beat this guy up? He sighed deeply. Now we need to ensure unity within the tribe. Beating him up is out of the question, but the special training tailored for this guy, the training volume must be doubled. Isn't he not afraid of pain? Isn't he not afraid of hardship? Then let's make it even more brutal. Forge the strongest warrior leader of the Tang clan. It's settled then? Tang Zhan soaked in the water for a while. His mind cleared up, but why did he feel a hint of malice in the clan leader's gaze? He shook his head. He must be overthinking. He was already a core member of the Tang clan. The clan leader's trusted man. How could the clan leader harbor ill will? Tang Zhan pulled himself together. Quickly climbing ashore, a set of hide vest and shorts appear before him. A warmth surged in his heart. This really was the treatment of a trusted follower. Tang Jian changed into the clothes quickly, and like Tang Long, cut off his long hair. With that cut, it felt as if he had also shed the air of despondency about him. In high spirits, Tang Jian is only 20 years old this year. He has thick eyebrows and big eyes. With handsome features, he naturally carries some charm. Tang Wu came down from upstream with Big Cat. In hot pants, a tank top, and a big braid. She looked youthful and striking. It was hard to look away. She glanced at Tang Jian, whose demeanor had completely changed. Happily, she praised him. "Wow, Jian, you become good-looking." Tang Jian's face turned slightly red. He chuckled and said, "Ah Wu, you become good-looking too. Your legs look so fair and long." Tang Wu was taken aback. Her cheeks flushed a little. Feigning confusion, she sat down by the campfire. Tang Long's face darkened. Maybe you should cover his head and give him a beating tonight? Tang Wu changed the subject, saying, "It seems our clan chief truly received guidance from the gods. To think he could come up with this kind of outfit. It saves the shaman a lot of trouble." Tang Long felt somewhat pleased inside. Modestly said, "These are all casually created by me. For now, let's keep the tribe's attire like this." Indeed, wearing clothes made of beast hide is only a temporary solution. Once we settle down, we must first find materials for making clothes. In his flame library, the methods and steps for making clothes are complete. As long as we have materials, we can produce cloth. Tang Long focused on roasting the beast meat. The aroma of meat drifted by the stream. He stored the processed beast meat into the flame library. He took out 3 sharp bone knives and handed them to Tang Wu and Tang Jian. These were polished by him following the shape of a fruit knife, specifically used for cutting meat when eating. "Chieftain, we haven't had salt these past few days. I feel my strength has decreased by 20%. Tang Jian said seriously. Tang Long nodded. "I also feel my strength weakening. We need to find salt as soon as possible." He looked at Dammy with a displeased expression. "Ah Wu," asked Dammy, "how much further is it?" Tang Wu frowned and said, "It said it's not far, we're almost there." Tang Long was a bit gloomy. At first, Big Meow also said it's not far, but we've been running for days and still haven't arrived. Does this Big Meow have some misunderstanding of the word not far? Big Meow also glared at Tang Long with an unfriendly expression. The grudge of electrocuting this cat shall never be forgotten. Sparks flew between the eyes of the man and the beast. If looks could kill, they would surely both perish together. "Big Meow, how dare you doubt this cat? If it weren't for my master forbidding it, this cat would definitely go scratch him a couple of times. Tang Long, this dumb cat, still dares to glare at this clan leader. If it weren't for Ao forbidding it, I would definitely give it another beating." Tang Wu had a headache. She cut off a piece of meat and handed it to Tang Long. Speaking earnestly, "You are the clan leader. It is the guardian spirit beast." Tang Long stuffed the meat into his mouth. This clan leader is too lazy to argue with that stupid cat. After dinner, the sky had already darkened. Tang Long brought Tang Jian to cut branches and build a sleeping shelter in the trees. The nights in the great wilderness were very cold. If they couldn't shield themselves from the dew, people would easily fall ill. Tang Jian went out and cut a lot of withered grass. They spread a thick layer on the ground. Camping in the forest, the 3 of them took turns keeping watch. Now that the wind spirit cat was with them, ordinary beasts dared not launch a sneak attack. But still, they couldn't let their guard down. Too many powerful beasts lurked in the forest. When Tang Long stood watch, the moon was high in the sky. The moon in the great wilderness was enormous, like a giant silver plate hanging in the heavens, shedding pale moonlight. The forest was filled with the roars of beasts everywhere, along with the rustling sounds of poisonous creatures crawling, sending chills down one's spine. Tang Long took the opportunity to take inventory of the supplies in his Xinhua library. Venomous snakes, scorpions, and centipedes had piled up into a small mountain. At least 1,000 catties he planned to fry and eat them later. The beast meat, fish, and shrimp together totaled about 5,000 catties. This was the main food supply. A pile of furs had already been treated with lightning. They could be made into high-quality leather clothes and leather pants. Another pile consisted of the scales and armor of fierce beasts. These were excellent materials for making warrior armor. Looking at the supplies in the Xinhua library, then glancing at the two people lying in the tree shelter, and peeking at that despicable big cat. This was all his capital in the great wilderness. He was destined to be a clan leader who started from scratch. After Tang Long finished organizing the supplies, he began to practice the breathing method of Iron Body Art. Threads of spiritual energy from heaven and earth gathered at his Bai Wei acupoint. His true chi was increasing thread by thread. Clan leader, go to sleep. I'll keep watch, Tang Zhan said as he walked out. Tang Long narrowed his eyes and said, Zhan, I'll teach you the breathing method to awaken the witch body. Good. Tang Zhan was overjoyed. He nodded vigorously. Happiness came so suddenly. Under the moonlight, Tang Zhan earnestly practiced the breathing method of hard qigong. He quickly grasped the essence of the breathing method, entering a state of cultivation. A sly smile curled at the corner of Tang Long's mouth. Once this guy starts to feel the qi sensation, it's time to begin training his resistance to blows. A hitter must first learn to take a hit. Otherwise, you can throw 100 punches without issue, but one punch from someone else and you're down. So as the warrior chief of the Tang tribe, Tang Zhan must become an indestructible warrior. Become the war god of the Tang tribe. The stick used to temper Tang Zhan's body must be thick. Only then will the striking have a better forging effect. Tang Zhan had a bad feeling. A chill ran through his heart. Could it be that the first time he practiced the witch body awakening technique caused hallucinations? Tang Long stepped into the tree shed. Tang Wu looked at him with wide eyes. You really have a method to awaken the shaman body? Tang Long shook his head and whispered, it's a method for super soldiers. Tang Wu reached out and tapped his head. Still as mischievous as when you were a kid. Can I practice this warrior training method? Tang Long thought for a moment. Tang Wu was naturally frail. Practicing tough body techniques would be excellent for him. You only need to practice the breathing techniques. As for the rest, you don't need to practice it. Tang Wu said happily, teach me quickly. From now on, I'll not only be a shaman, but also a powerful warrior. Early morning, Tang Long woke from a light sleep. He grilled a few fish, but they tasted bland. The food was so bland it drove him crazy. But Tang Wu and Tang Zhan wolfed it down. They had been training all night, and their stomachs had no oil or fat. Very hungry. After finishing breakfast, the trio and the beast continued on their way. They entered a massive mushroom forest. The mushrooms here were as large as wash basins, waist high, and of many varieties, dazzling to the eye. Tang Long was overjoyed. Through his thunderclap purple eyes, he could clearly and distinctly see whether the mushrooms were poisonous or not. He took out a bone knife and called out to Tang Zhan, follow me and harvest the mushrooms. Do it according to my classification. He intended to clear the entire mushroom forest, storing everything in the Xinhua library. Non-poisonous mushrooms were set aside in one pile, and poisonous ones in another. Poisonous mushrooms could be purified with lightning. All excellent food beast meat stewed with mushrooms. Just thinking about it was incredibly delicious. Tang Wu, with Big Cat, began clearing the dangers from the mushroom grove. Soon, a pile of venomous snakes and toxic creatures lay on the ground. There were also a few unranked beasts. The beasts were directly given to Big Meow as food. Tang Long collected the poisonous items into the Xinhua library. He checked in the library for a long time, yet not a single mushroom matched the records. Perhaps these giant mushrooms had long gone extinct in later generations. This time, they harvested over 1,000 gene of non-toxic mushrooms and 2,000 gene of toxic mushrooms. The three were very happy. Tang Zhan grinned foolishly, saying, from now on, we never have to worry about going hungry again. His words made Tang Long feel somewhat saddened. He said seriously, follow the chieftain, and you'll have meat to eat. Tang Zhan noted Vigo Du Xin. As the warrior leader of the Tang tribe, and the chieftain's confidant, who else should I follow? At noon, the sun hung high. They crossed a forest. The view suddenly opened up. It was no longer dense, towering giant trees, but vast, open grassland, stretching endlessly as far as the eye could see. There were few beasts on the grassland, and the silence was unsettling. Their position was right at the edge of the grassland. Beside them, a great river flowed silently. They could not see the other side, as if it had no end. Many ferocious fish leaped above the surface, their scales reflecting light. Their mouths were filled with interlocking teeth. A chilling sight. From time to time, huge birds of prey dove into the water, snatching up ferocious fish and soaring into the sky, departing with ease. But some birds, just as they reached the water surface, were sucked into a gaping maw, devoured by a monster beneath the waves. A dreadful river, dreadful birds of prey. The swift wind spirit cat led them across the grassland. And fortunately, they were not attacked by the birds. They encountered a few first-rank beasts on the grassland, all of which ended up as meat in the torch library. 2 days later, they finally reached the end of the grassland. It was a tall mountain along the river, peaks stacked with green, strange trees covering the mountain. Mountain flowers everywhere, meow, meow, meow. Swift wind spirit cat raised its paw, pointing ahead and calling out. Tang Wu breathed a sigh of relief and said, Big Cat says up ahead is that place with the salty smell. Tang Long slowly crept over. Places like this usually gather fierce beasts. Must be especially careful. This is an exposed area dominated by white and yellow. It's salt or exposed on the ground surface. Looks like it has many impurities. But there were no fierce beasts here. Instead, there were many people. Some of them were digging salt blocks. Some were patrolling. Get lost. You tramp. If you come here to steal salt again, I'll beat you to death. A burst of scolding came from afar. Then a thin teenager was thrown out by a burly man. His face was full of despair. This burly man had large bones, at least 190 centimeters tall, slightly taller than both Tang Zhan and Tang Long. Please give me some salt. My father has no strength to go out hunting because of the lack of salt. Our whole family is starving to death. The young man begged. The burly man said coldly, Why don't you join a tribe? The young man said, We have too many old and young. The tribes don't want us. The burly man cursed angrily. Don't tell these lies to gain sympathy. You wandering wastelanders are all ungrateful wretches. No matter how much you feed them, they never become loyal. Get the hell out of here. The young man left in despair, staggering, his whole body weak. Hey, did you leave something here? The burly man suddenly shouted to the young man. The young man turned around woodenly. Shaking his head, he said no. The burly man suddenly threw out a lump of salt. I clearly saw you left this inside. Take it away. A strange light flashed in the young man's eyes. He looked at the burly man gratefully, picked up the salt block and ran. His family could be saved, so he ran very fast, terrified that the burly man might change his mind. In this great wilderness, good people were truly too few. Too few. Xiong Zhuang. This salt mine is jointly owned by the bear tribe and my snake tribe. Why do you have to give away salt? A thin young man rushed out and shouted angrily. Xiong Zhuang glanced at him disdainfully. Shi Chao, which eye of yours saw me giving him salt? Shi Chao's triangular eyes narrowed. He said in a sinister tone, What you just threw to him wasn't salt. Xiong Zhuang retorted angrily, I threw a rock. Can't you snake people see clearly? Shi Chao said coldly. Is that so? He suddenly shouted in the direction the youth had left. Did you catch him, young chief? Caught him. The youth was dragged back by 2 lean warriors. There was blood all around his mouth. Young chief, the stolen salt is in his arms. The youth said sorrowfully. I didn't steal it. This salt is mine. Xiong Zhuang said angrily. Shi Chao, do you believe I'll beat you to death? Shi Chao's face darkened. He said coldly, If the bear tribe could do anything to us snake tribe, would they still share this salt mine with us? Ha! Xiong Zhuang, you are too naive. Xiong Zhuang, with bloodlust flaring, threw a punch and shouted, I'll kill you. Shi Chao's expression changed drastically. He shouted angrily, Xiong Zhuang, are you trying to start a war between our tribes? All the salt mining warriors stopped. They split into 2 opposing camps, ready to fight at any moment. Xiong Zhuang, stop! A loud shout came. Chieftain! Xiong Zhuang was stunned. A tall, sturdy man walked out from the bushes. He said in a deep voice, Shi Chao is right. If everyone can come in and steal salt, then why would we bother to station people here to guard it? Xiong Zhuang said discontentedly, Father, this boy is so pitiful. What's the big deal about giving a little? The bear clan leader glared at him. He said to Snake Grass, Let this boy go. This piece of salt will be deducted from our tribe's share. Snake Grass then said coldly, That's more like it. Let that bastard go. The boy hugged the salt block in terror and fled for his life. He disappeared from sight in an instant. Chieftain, because of this salt mine, there should be quite a few wandering wild people nearby. Tang, which reminded, for the Tang tribe to become strong, it must absorb people into the clan. These wandering wild people are good candidates, but it's hard to recruit them because those who can survive alone in the wilderness all have some skills. Those without skills died long ago. These people are generally unruly, hard to recruit and manage. Another type are those carrying blood feuds. If such people join the clan, they will bring enmity to the tribe. That's quite a headache. So all tribes were very cautious about accepting wandering wastelanders. Some tribes simply didn't take them in. Tang Long nodded. There's salt here. There's water. It's a good place. Our tribe will settle here and recruit people. Tang Zhan was a bit worried. There are already 2 tribes here. They definitely won't want a new tribe to appear. Tang Long said domineeringly, we don't need their permission. Shaman led to Miao Fine Cave. We'll settle down first and talk later. Giant Dragon Mountain was the name Tang Long gave it. This mountain was only 300 to 400 meters high. The mountain was entirely composed of blue stone. The summit was flat, and the mountainside had many natural caves. It was about 20 li from the salt mine. Not too close, not too far. There was a small stream at the foot of the mountain. The water source was convenient. Swiftwind Spirit Cat had brought them here, and had cleared the area of poisonous creatures and fierce beasts. Tang Long was very satisfied. Even without building houses here, it could accommodate several hundred people. It's a good place to establish a tribe. Tang Wu lit the first bonfire in the cave. From now on, this will be the hearth of the Tang tribe. This flame shall never be extinguished. At night, at the salt mine, Tang Wu and Tang Zhan stood in the darkness, watching Tang Long slowly approach the salt mine. A dozen bonfires were burning inside the salt mine, illuminating the entire mine as bright as day. Inside the salt mine were 2 low thatched huts, set some distance apart. One housed the Bear tribe warriors. The other housed the Snake tribe warriors. 2 Bear tribe warriors and 2 Snake tribe warriors were patrolling, cursing and grumbling incessantly, as if filled with great discontent. Guarding the salt mine was a tough job. Out here in the wilderness, the probability of ferocious beasts attacking is high. The mortality rate is high, and that's not all. They also have to deal with the wandering wastelanders. These people steal salt at any time without regard for the hour, keeping everyone on edge constantly. Tang Long ghosted up to the last soldier of the patrol team, walking in the same rhythm as him. The Snake tribe soldier at the back suddenly felt a trace of warmth on his neck. He glanced at the shadow beside him. Holy crap, 5 shadows. He was terrified and just about to shout, but someone covered his mouth. A heavy press on his neck. He lost consciousness. None of the 4 patrol soldiers escaped Tang Long's clutches. All were silenced by Tang Long, mouths covered, pressure points pressed, and knocked to the ground. Tang Long first slipped into the Snake tribe warrior's hovel. Inside, a bonfire was burning, brightly lighting up the shelter. Huff, huff. Loud snoring came from the shack. The Snake tribe warriors were fast asleep. Tang Long's pupils suddenly contracted. All these Snake tribe warriors were sleeping naked. It looked quite lewd. In the shack, there were also 2 naked women. They were no longer breathing. Their lower bodies were filthy and stained, too shameful to look at. A surge of rage burned deep in Tang Long's heart. These beasts. Tang Long's eyes turned icy cold. A black bone knife suddenly appeared in his hand. It was the color of ash. His hand covering his mouth and the hand gripping the knife were steady. One by one, he slit the throats of these beasts. The shack filled with the stench of blood. Snake Grass suddenly woke from his deep sleep. He smelled the scent of blood. Could it be that those 2 women were broken by the brothers' play? His pupils suddenly constricted. A dark shadow was staring at him with a cold smile. It was a man, but his skin was the color of ash. In the dead of night, he looked somewhat terrifying. He glanced around with the corner of his eye. The shack was deathly still. The blood on the ground had already pooled into a small stream. Shi Chao's expression changed drastically. He felt the stone knife within reach. A flicker of joy rose in his heart, but his body suddenly went limp and weak. A black hand pressed down on his head. Strands of purple electricity coiled around his body. Snake Grass's entire body went into spasms. Foam dripped from his mouth as he felt his body being scorched dry. Don't kill me. He trembled, pleading. Tang Long let out a cold laugh. To drive him to despair, The black bone knife sliced off Snake Grass's tongue. Then it severed all his meridians. Tang Long withdrew the power of lightning, leaving Snake Grass writhing in agony on the ground. Finally, with one stroke, he cut Snake Grass's throat. For such a beast, Tang Long never showed any mercy. Tang Long walked out of the Snake tribe's hovel. His heart finally felt much more at ease. With reddened eyes, he sneaked into the Bear tribe's hovel. If the Bear tribe people were also so inhumane, he would not hesitate to go on a killing spree. The Bear tribe warriors in the hovel were sleeping soundly. No women, no filthy deeds. Tang Long, like a ghost, knocked them out one by one, until he encountered Xiong Zhuang, startled by this guy who slept with his eyes open. Due to the inexplicable fright, he struck a bit harder. It was estimated that Xiong Zhuang would suffer some pain upon waking. He knocked out the Bear tribe people, killed all the Snake tribe people. Tomorrow this place would surely be very lively. These two tribes would most likely start a fight. Such a time was very suitable for the Tang tribe to secretly expand. Tang Long gave 2 more slashes to the 2 patrolling Snake tribe members. Then he set the Snake tribe hovel on fire. He wanted to destroy the evidence and cover his tracks. Let the Snake clan and Bear clan fight each other. He directly dragged the thousands of pounds of salt blocks mined from the salt mine into the Xinhua library. Tang Zhan rushed in after seeing the firelight. This place had been completely cleaned out by Tang Long. Tang Zhan looked at the chief, covered in soot, and remained silent. The chief is too fierce. He robbed a salt mine all by himself, took down dozens of warriors. Is this something one person can do? On the way back, Tang Long led the way. Tang Zhan brought up the rear, while Tang Wu rode comfortably on Big Cat. Flames danced on her fingertips, lighting the way back to the cave. Tang Zhan had many questions in his mind. Chief, why did you cover yourself all black with ash? Tang Long answered patiently. This is called camouflage, blending yourself into the environment, to deceive the enemy's eyes, reducing the chance of being spotted by enemies, launching attacks under the cover of night. Black is the most suitable color for camouflage. The more eager Tang Zhan was to learn, the happier Tang Long became. Training this warrior leader well would make things easier for himself in the future. Having questions means he's thinking. It's a good start. The 3 people and 1 beast returned to the cave safely. Tang Long laid out all the spoils from this trip inside the cave. Several thousand jin of salt blocks. Tang Wu and Tang Zhan smiled so hard their eyes crinkled with wrinkles. Finally, we have salt. Tang Long picked up a piece of salt and licked it. His face instantly scrunched up. He quickly spat several times. This salt was salty, bitter, and astringent, completely unpalatable. Can this even be eaten by people? Tang Wu was puzzled by this reaction. He picked up a piece and licked it. There's nothing wrong with it. This all tastes much better than what the original tribe used to eat. She asked doubtfully. This salt tastes better than what we had before. Is there something wrong with Long? Tang Zhan also licked it doubtfully. It is better than the original. Happily, he licked it a few more times. The feeling of lacking salt in the body is too uncomfortable. Now that they have such good salt, he will lick it a few times first and talk later. Tang Long felt a pang in his heart. This kind of salt that is barely edible is actually better than what they had before. Then what exactly had he been eating before? In the future, even pigs would reject this stuff, let alone humans eating it. With a thought, he requested the Xinhua library to compare the salt in front of him. Comparison result: unknown rock salt. Impurity content as high as 40%. Some impurities are harmful to the human body. As Tang Long knew, the reason primitive humans had short lifespans, besides the harsh natural environment, was also largely related to diet. Crude salt contains many harmful substances. Drinking untreated water contains many parasites. Getting sick generally means death. But now that he has come, the members of the Tang tribe must live well. I have a way to make the salt taste much better. He forced a smile. Tang Wu was very surprised. Her beautiful eyes narrowed slightly, and she asked very adorably. It was also a divine guidance when awakening the shamanic body. Tang Long gave a non-committal response. Seriously, he said, I now announce the first clan rule of the Tang tribe. No drinking untreated water allowed. All water must be boiled before drinking. Tang Zhan immediately raised an objection. Chief, but we currently have no stone pots. Stone basins or stone bowls. There's no way to boil water. Tang Long smiled slightly. With a thought, the cave was filled with stone tools. There were 2 stone pots, 5 stone basins, 20 stone bowls, as well as 10 stone knives and 10 stone spears. There are also 2,000 pounds of beast meat. Tang Wu said in surprise and delight. Now our tribe finally has stone tools for daily life. All the items from the snake tribe were thrown into the fire by Tang Long. Now these on the ground are the bear tribe's belongings. Tang Long said, "These stone tools must be scalded with boiling water before they can be used." "Yes, we'll follow the chief's arrangements." Now, there is salt and also stone tools for daily life. Tang Long decided to have a hearty meal before resting. Tonight, not only will there be roasted meat, but also beast meat stew with mushrooms. Inside the cave, a second bonfire was lit. One pile is for roasting meat, the other for making soup. But before making the soup, Tang Long still had one thing to do. That was to render animal fat. The reason people don't get full and get hungry easily. The fundamental reason is that there is no oil or fat in the stomach. In later times, when vegetable oil wasn't used, people used lard, oil rendered from the fat and lard of a beast. It smelled great. Tang Long washed a sturdy, smooth stone slab to use as a cutting board. Using a bone knife, he cut the beast's fat and lard into small pieces. He placed them into the scalding hot stone pot. A puff of smoke immediately rose in the cave. The rich, oily aroma also spread out. A layer of clear oil slowly seeped out from the fatty meat. More and more, and the fragrance in the cave grew stronger. Gurgle, gurgle. The 3 people's stomachs growled one after another, completely uncontrollable. After the first pot of beast oil was rendered and taken off the fire, Tang Long brought the oil dregs to the 2 people with eyes glowing green. Tang Wu and Tang Zhan couldn't stop eating. This was simply too delicious. After rendering several pots of beast oil, Tang Long decided that before making the beast meat stew with mushrooms, he would first make a delicacy stir-fried wild greens with beast meat. Pure and natural, no pollution. You couldn't get this even if you spent a fortune in later ages. He scooped a wooden ladle of animal fat into the piping hot stone pot. Then he tossed in sliced game meat and stir-fried it. Finally, he added the washed wild greens. The aroma of vegetables and meat mingled together. Even Big Mew couldn't help circling around Tang Long. Tang Wu and Tang Zhan's eyes lit up. Their eyes never left the stone pot for a moment. A basin of stir-fried game and wild greens was ready. The 3 of them shoveled it into their mouths like crazy. Tang Zhan asked while munching, mumbling, "Chieftain, what do you call this kind of food?" Tang Long laughed. "This is called stir-fry. From now on, it's the signature dish of our Tang tribe." Tang Wu was so delighted her eyes narrowed into crescents. She had never tasted such delicious food. Only then did Tang Long pour water into the stone pot. He boiled the torn mushroom pieces and animal bones together. After the 3 finished eating the stir-fried wild vegetables with meat, the stone pot was already boiling. The color of the mushroom and bone soup grew richer. The creamy white soup exuded a rich aroma. Tang Wu asked skeptically, "Did the dragon god guide you to make food?" Tang Long couldn't help but chuckle at that. "Oh, Wu, you guessed right." Soon, the 3 of them were holding stone bowls, drinking with their heads down. The smoothness of the mushrooms, the richness of the soup, the feeling of gnawing on bones, immersed them in the delicious meal. Meow, meow, meow. The swift spirit cat was also drawn by the aroma, feeling hungry. It reminded them discontentedly, "There's also me. I want to drink the soup and eat the meat too." Tang Wu excitedly prepared a bowl for the big cat. "Let it taste this delicacy too." The big cat gently licked it once. It buried its cat head in the bowl, unable to lift it. Truly a taste never experienced in its cat life. Big Meow had decided, from now on, whatever the owner eats, it will eat too. It would eat cooked food. Today, roast meat became the least popular dish. In the end, it all went to the ravenous Gale spirit cat. Tang Long said discontentedly, "Big Meow, since you want to eat cooked food, from now on, you'll have to go out hunting more often, or else there won't be any for you." The Gale spirit cat savored the recent feast and suddenly became much gentler toward Tang Long. Meow, meow, meow. Early morning at the salt mine. Young clam leader, wake up quickly. Something has happened. Xiong Zhuang woke up from the darkness. He felt a pain as if his neck had been broken. He said angrily, "What happened?" A burly man said, "The snake tribe's hut has been burned down. The salt we dug out is gone." Xiong Zhuang was shocked and jumped up from the ground. Smoke lingered. The snake tribe's huts had turned into a pile of black ash. There were still sparks in the ashes. When the wind blew, soot scattered everywhere. The bear tribe warriors pulled out more than a dozen skeletons of snake tribe people from the ashes. The flesh and blood had not completely melted away. It was nauseating to look at. Xiong Zhuang hastily gathered the bear tribe warriors. He counted the number of people. Not one was missing. Only then did he breathe a sigh of relief. His mind was in chaos. What exactly had happened last night? "Young chief, all our stone tools and supplies are gone," a bear tribe warrior reported. Xiong Zhuang nodded numbly. It seemed they had been robbed. Xiong Zhuang felt a little melancholy. Who would be so bold as to rob the fearsome bear tribe? This thief was utterly despicable. If I catch him, I'll beat him to death. Now the snake clan has been completely wiped out. This is a huge problem, he asked with great unease. Last night, the snake clan men were with women in the shed. Did you find it unbearable? The bear warriors all nodded. They're a bunch of beasts. Hearing the two women's miserable cries for help, they all wanted to rush in and kill. Xiong Zhuang swallowed hard. Then he asked, "Did you go and kill them in the middle of the night?" The bear warriors all shook their heads. Although they had hatred in their hearts, they didn't dare to actually wipe out the snake clan. Then who on earth did this? Xiong Zhuang asked, furious. A warrior said, "Could it be the wandering wastelanders?" Xiong Zhuang shook his head. If it was the wastelanders, then after they killed the snake clan, why not kill us too? The bear warriors all shook their heads. Who knows about such things? Xiong Zhuang's head hurt from thinking. Which hero could have done this? Now the bear tribe has only lost some things, but the snake tribe lost lives. How do we explain this to the snake tribe? Far from the salt mine, Tang Zhan lay there and said, "Chieftain, why are we watching so early?" Tang Long said, "To see if the bear and snake tribes will fight." "Chieftain, people from both tribes have come." Dan Dan Weetspa, ooh. Tang Long craned his neck to look. He saw strange cries coming from the forest above the salt mine. Countless people holding stone knives and stone spears rushed into the salt mine. Both bear and snake tribe people were there. Many people came, and in the salt mine, they were clearly separated. Each stood on one side. The bear people had thick eyebrows and big eyes, tall stature and thick bones. He's incredibly muscular. The snake people have large heads and thin necks. Human bones are relatively slender. They look very thin. They surrounded the snake clan's hut. They stared blankly at the ashes on the ground. "Chief Bear, don't you owe me an explanation for this?" Snake Tongue said grimly. Bear Mountain frowned and said soothingly, "Chief Snake, don't be anxious. I will definitely give you an explanation." Bear Strong, what exactly is going on? Bear Mountain roared. Bear Strong looked worried. He said weakly, "Father, we were all knocked unconscious last night. We don't know what happened." "You were all knocked unconscious?" Snake Tongue narrowed his triangular eyes and said, "Come here, let me see where you were hit." Bear Strong and a group of Bear Clan warriors looked at each other in confusion. "We have no injuries on us. We don't even know where we were hit. They were all knocked out and only woke up this morning." "Ha ha!" Snake Tongue sneered with disbelief. "You didn't just choke each other out, did you?" Xiong Zhuang, holding his neck, said, "My neck was injured last night. It was struck, not choked." Snake Tongue narrowed his eyes. "Let me see," Xiong Zhuang said, lifting his head. "See? It's from a hit." Snake Tongue carefully examined the red mark on Xiong Zhuang's carotid artery, sneering repeatedly. "Does this look like a hit mark?" "I was right, it's from choking." Xiong Zhuang didn't know how he got the injury either. He instinctively retorted, "Chief Snake, this is from a hit." Snake Tongue said non-committally, "So what about the salt we dug up?" Xiong Zhuang spread his hands and said, "Gone along with all our weapons, meat, and everything else." Snake Tongue said grimly, "Do you think I believe that?" Xiong Zhuang said urgently, "Snake Chief, it's true. He's telling the truth. Why doesn't anyone believe it? They were knocked out. Their weapons and meat were stolen. The Snake Clan people were killed and burned. We really don't know. Chief, the weapons of the chief and his son, and all their food and belongings are in the ashes. Everything is burnt to a crisp," a Snake Clan warrior reported. "Chief, except for the road back to the two clans. No salt grains were found elsewhere. A snake clan scout reported. Snake Xin suddenly turned and asked, Xiong Zhuang, I heard you fought with my son yesterday? Xiong Zhuang's heart sank. He defended himself. No. My father stopped us. Snake seen saw. You killed them that night. Then burned them to destroy the evidence. And kept the salt chunks dug out recently for yourself, didn't you? Xiong Zhuang broke out in a cold sweat. I didn't. Xiong Shan quickly said. Chief Snake, stay calm. Our bear tribe would never do such a thing. You have to trust me. Shi Xian laughed, his whole body trembling. He said eerily, as if I'd believe you. Snake tribe warriors kill. Kill. The snake tribe warriors immediately charged at the bear tribe's formation. A melee broke out. Xiong Zhuang, you kill my son. Your life is mine. Shi Xian swung his stone knife and slashed at him. Xiong Shan drew his knife to block. Chief Snake, this absolutely was not done by my son. You must trust our bear tribe. Shi Xian's eyes were bloodshot as he said, whether it was your bear tribe's doing or not. The two of them were together. My son died, so your son must die too. It's not right that my son was killed and burned, while your son is still alive and kicking. Do you think I'm an idiot? Xiong Shan said angrily. This is too much. Shi Xian, I've put up with you for too long. Bear clan warriors, kill these snake men for me. Kill. The battle between the two clans quickly reached a fever pitch. Screams of agony continued to ring out. Dan dan wajet in den di. Chieftain, they're fighting so fiercely. Tang Long said, let's go. Tang Zhan was startled. Where to? Tang Long said calmly. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. We'll go scout both clans' camps to see their strength. Tang Wu asked in confusion. What does know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated mean? Tang Long explained. It means we must not only understand our own strength, but also the enemy's strength. Only then will there be no danger in battle. Tang Zhan asked doubtfully, Chieftain, are we going to fight? Tang Long gave a mysterious smile. Soon, there will be war. The three people and one beast quietly left. Big Cat led the way, following the traces left by the interactions between the two tribes. Behind the mountain, there was a flat valley. Inside, hundreds of crude huts were set up. Some tall, thin people were moving about among them. Tang Long said, this should be the snake tribe's camp. Help! I don't want to be fed to the snakes. Please, let me go. A heart-wrenching cry for help rang out at the camp entrance. Tang Long looked and saw it was the boy who had stolen the salt chunk yesterday. He was being dragged into the camp by two snake tribe warriors. He looked utterly miserable. It really seemed like fate. No matter where they went, they ran into this boy. But what was this about feeding snakes? Tang Long's eyes narrowed. This snake tribe wasn't using humans to feed snakes, was it? He surveyed this drafty camp. It wouldn't be hard to sneak in. Oh no, the bear tribe has killed the young chief. They've taken the salt mine for themselves. Now the chief is fighting them. A snake tribe warrior came crawling back, shouting, What? Take up arms, everyone. Let's go fight the bear tribe. Someone yelled, and the snake tribe instantly fell into chaos. People were shouting everywhere. Some were looking for weapons. Some were calling for others. Soon, only women and children were left to guard the camp. Over 1,000 warriors marched in a mighty force toward the salt mine. The snake tribe camp was suddenly empty. Only a few dozen people moved about the camp. You stay here and wait for me. I'll sneak in and take a look. Tang Long hid behind a large tree. He changed into snake tribe clothing. His 15-year-old body hadn't fully developed yet. He was still somewhat thin. In appearance, he bore some resemblance to the snake tribe physique. Tang Wu warned with some concern. Be careful. Tang Long slipped into the snake tribe from a secluded corner. He had already observed the route carefully, quietly approaching the center of the tribe. The young man had just been dragged into the largest thatched hut in the middle of the tribe. He wanted to see if this person he felt a connection with had already been fed to the snakes. This was a large thatched hut, the tallest structure in the entire tribe, about 4 meters high. Kid, I heard from other wastelanders that you have a beautiful sister. Tell me where she is. A lecherous voice said. We found your old place yesterday. What a pity. Now tell us where your sister is. Another obscene voice chimed in. You bastards of the snake tribe. My sister has already left this place. Give up that hope. The young man's voice became much sharper. Tang Long slipped inside. There was no one in the outer room. only a blazing campfire. The sound came from the inner room. He poked through the thatch, separating the two rooms. The scene inside the inner room was fully revealed. In the inner room, there was a huge pit. Two Snake Tribe warriors were standing by the pit, holding a young man. The two Snake Tribe warriors pressed stone knives against the young man's throat. Their posture suggested that any disagreement would lead to bloodshed on the spot. Beside them stood a pillar. Tied to it was a man covered in bloodstains. He seemed to be barely alive. A vile voice spoke. "Since you refuse to talk, then I'll let you feed the snakes in this 10,000 snake pit. But first, I'll let you witness the horror of being devoured by snakes." He untied the man from the pillar, and with a casual push, sent him tumbling into the large pit ahead. "Ah, help!" The man disappeared in an instant. Only his cries for help could be heard. Rustling, rustling. Tang Long listened carefully. There were many sounds of snakes creeping in the pit. It sent chills down one's spine. In the blink of an eye, the man's cries for help ceased, and there was no sound anymore. The youth's face turned pale. "You Snake Clan beasts. Even if I feed the snakes, I won't tell you where my sister is. Then don't blame us brothers for being ruthless." The lecherous voice said coldly. "Push this kid down." A cold glint flashed in Tang Long's eyes. He sidestepped in, silent and stealthy. Like a ghost, he appeared before the three of them. Lightning fast, he reached out and pushed the one with the lecherous voice. A current of electricity shot from his fingertips into the man's body. The lecherous voice felt his entire body go numb. His body stiffened, and like a wooden puppet, he was pushed into the pit. His cry for help was still trapped in his throat, when it was drowned out by a wave of rustling sounds. The lecherous voice was greatly alarmed. Just as he turned around, he saw a flash of white light. He suddenly found himself unable to speak. His consciousness slowly faded, then fell into eternal darkness. The young man was splattered with blood. He was stunned by the sudden turn of events. Why would this Snake Clan man, who had just burst into the room, kill his own kin? These were two first-rank Beast Fang warriors, possessing the strength of 1,000 pounds. They were capable of single-handedly fighting ferocious beasts. Yet, without any resistance, they were pushed into the snake pit. This killer was incredibly fast. So fast that the killing was done in the blink of an eye. Two evil Snake Clan men were dead. One was inexplicably pushed into the snake pit. One had his throat slit, then was also thrown into the snake pit. Tang Long looked into the snake pit. It was deep, probably about 20 to 30 meters. The entire snake pit is shaped like a gourd, narrow above and wide below, with a vast interior space. Inside the snake pit are countless colorful venomous snakes, tearing at corpses. The snake pit is littered with white bones. The stench is thick. Countless people must have died here. The cold glint in Tang Long's eyes grew even sharper. This Snake Clan member seems quite evil. Feeding humans to snakes, he deserves death. Suddenly, an even stronger stench rose from the snake pit. The venomous snakes in the pit suddenly fled in all directions, as if encountering some natural enemy. Then a massive snake head poked out from the edge of the pit. This snake head was the size of a wash basin. It had a sharp green horn. The snake head was covered in fine green scales. Its two blood-red eyes gleamed with ferocity. It looked extremely ferocious. A giant snake flicked out its crimson forked tongue, wrapping a corpse and pulling it into its mouth, swallowing it whole. The sight was horrifying. Tang Long grabbed the dazed boy and pulled him away. Now wasn't the time to deal with this snake pit. First, he needed to get the boy out of this tribe. "Listen to me. Follow my lead. I'll get you out of here." Tang Long stood at the entrance, surveying the situation outside. The boy whispered, "You're not from the snake tribe?" Tang Long replied, "If I were, I wouldn't be saving you." The boy thought about the two snake tribe members who had been fed to the snakes. This probably wasn't some elaborate ruse by the snake tribe. "Follow me." Tang Long led the boy out of the snake tribe camp without incident. Meow, meow, meow. The boy was startled by the wind-swift spirit cat. This is a second-level ferocious beast. A single claw swipe could kill him. "Chieftain, you rescued this unfortunate kid?" Tang Zhan asked in surprise. The boy looked displeased. "Who are you calling an unfortunate kid?" Tang Long said seriously. "These snake tribe people are quite evil. They actually feed humans to snakes." Tang Wu and Tang Zhan's expressions changed. The young man said with lingering fear, "That big snake from just now is the sacred snake of their snake tribe. It loves to eat humans. I've lived nearby for a year. Those wastelanders always warn me not to go near the snake tribe's territory. If caught, you're doomed to be fed to the snake. But the salt mine is right here. If I don't come, my family won't survive. Tang Long said, the snake tribe people probably have their eyes on your sister. You need to hide your sister well. The young man looked at Tang Long warily and asked tentatively, you saved me. You don't also have your eyes on my sister, do you? Tang Long took a deep breath, releasing a bit of the depression in his heart. He explained, listen carefully. I saved you because I couldn't bear to see you die in the snake's mouth. I'm not after your sister. The youth said stubbornly, if not for my sister, would you have risked your life to save me? Tang Long said somewhat helplessly, I didn't know you before, nor your sister. How could it be that I saved you because of your sister? The youth was very puzzled. He and this person were total strangers. Is there a reason worth risking his life to save me? The answer is no. He has no food, no treasures, nor is he a powerful warrior. There's nothing to exploit. He had seen many people in the wilderness who would kick a man when he's down, but this was the first time he met someone who saved him for no reason. He bit his lip and asked, my sister is very beautiful, all men like her. Are you really not after her? Tang Long felt a bit of headache. Really not. Let's go. I'll take you back, the youth said with squinted eyes. Still saying you're not after my sister? You clearly just want to take the chance to send me back, to snatch my beautiful elder sister. Kill me if you want. I won't betray my sister. Tang Long was at a loss for words. Did he really look like a lecher? Still, this kid was a sister-protecting maniac. Beautiful primitive people. How beautiful could they really be? Sending the boy back was to scout out the wandering savages' camp. Next, Tang tribe would start recruiting clansmen. Begin to settle down here. Tang Long pointed at Tang Wu. Is your sister as beautiful as our Wu? The boy sized up the pretty Tang Wu. Proudly said, of course. My sister's beauty is rare in this wild land. Oomph. Tang Zhan let out a contemptuous snort. He glanced ingratiatingly at Tang Wu. Nonsense, kid. Our Wu is the most beautiful woman in the wild. Say that again, and I'll punch you. Tang Wu blushed at his words. Feeling uneasy, Tang Zhan's gaze at her has been very off lately. Should I burn him with fire? To sober him up. Tang Long's little face darkened. Tang Zhan's words made his hair stand on end. This guy is getting more and more cringe. Should I electrocute him? To sober him up. A chill suddenly ran down Tang Zhan's back. He felt a bit uneasy. Did I say something wrong? Since that's the case, then go. Tang Long said, this young man is too cautious. Now is not a good time to get close. The young man kowtowed to Tang Long. He said seriously, I have no way to repay the debt of saving my life. Gee, go. Tang Long waved his hand. Go on. Go back and protect your sister. The young man's eyes sharpened. He mentioned his sister again. Sure enough, he's someone who has his eye on his sister. He took his leave. There are too few good people in the great wilderness, and even fewer trustworthy ones. Tang Long then said to Tang Wu, Wu, have Big Cat follow them, to see where they live, so we can find them later. Tang Wu nodded with a smile. She somewhat understood Tang Long's intention. It wasn't that he had taken a liking to the older sister. Rather, he wanted to recruit the siblings. Tang Zhan, however, was different. He asked curiously, Chieftain, so you really do fancy that older sister, huh? The corner of Tang Long's mouth twitched. He really wanted to hit Tang Zhan, but what could he do? He took a deep breath to calm himself down. The tribe has few people now. If he injured someone, there would be no one to work. He'll deal with it when the tribe has enough hands. Tang Zhan saw Tang Long remain silent. The chieftain has tacitly agreed. Tang Long adjusted his mood. He said, let's go to the bear tribe. The bear tribe was located by a large river, not far from the snake tribe. When Tang Long and his two companions arrived at the bear tribe, just in time to see a large group of bear warriors heading off to battle. The entire tribe was left with only the old, weak, sick, and disabled. As empty as the snake tribe. Tang Long sneaked into the bear tribe's camp. It wasn't as filthy as the snake tribe. It looked much cleaner. Both the bear tribe and the snake tribe were tribes with only about 1,000 people. The chief of the snake tribe, Snake Tongue, was a level 3 Beast Fang warrior. In the tribe, there were over a dozen level 2 Beast Fang warriors. There were about 1,000 level 1 Beast Fang warriors. The chief of the bear tribe, Bear Mountain, was a level 3 Beast Fang warrior. In the tribe, there were also over a dozen level 2 Beast Fang warriors. There were about 1,000 level 1 beast Fong warriors. In Tang Long's memory, tribes were divided into 3 levels. Tribes with fewer than 10,000 people were called small tribes. Those between 10,000 and 100,000 were called medium tribes. Those with over 100,000 were called large tribes. The bear tribe and the snake tribe could only be considered tiny tribes. These 2 tribes were evenly matched in strength. No wonder neither side could gain the upper hand. Neither tribe had a shaman, but the snake tribe had a giant serpent. Its strength was unknown. When the 3 returned to the salt mine, the 2 tribes were locked in a fierce battle. It seemed to be a grudge to the death. They waited for Big Meow to return, and then the 3 people and 1 beast returned to Giant Dragon Mountain. Big Meow had followed them to their dwelling. Tang Us Mai. Tang Long took a piece of Tang-style roasted meat from the Xinhua library and tossed it to Big Meow. This was a reward for Big Meow. Big Meow ate happily and looked at Tang Long with much more favor. Anyone who gives this cat good food is a good person. Tang Long took out a clean, thin animal hide and pierced it full of holes with a bone needle. This left Tang Wu and Tang Zhan utterly baffled. "Chieftain, are you all right?" Tang Zhan asked tentatively. Tang Long was rather puzzled. "What is it?" "Then why are you poking holes in the animal hide?" he asked, scratching the back of his head. "Why are you ruining a perfectly good animal hide?" Tang Long sighed and said, "This salt is very coarse, and it contains many toxic substances. If people eat this salt long-term, they will get sick. Their lifespan will be greatly shortened. I want to make refined salt to eat. Now you smash these salt blocks for me, then put them into a basin of water to dissolve." Tang Wu asked with great interest. "It seems the gods have also granted you wisdom. Is it to make you the wise man of the great wilderness?" Tang Long nodded. "Oh, a clan chief of Tang must be a wise man. The first step in making salt is to dissolve it. After smashing the salt blocks, dissolve them in water. Stir with a wooden stick to ensure full dissolution." Then Tang Long covered the stone basin with an animal skin full of tiny holes to filter it. He filtered out all the impurities from the salt chunks. Next came the detoxification step. This was simple for Tang Long. His thunder force had a purifying effect. The electric current directly removed the toxins. Finally, he poured the brine into a stone pot and simmered it slowly. He evaporated the water. What remained was pure, tasting salt. Tang Wu was the best person to control the fire. She had perfect control over the fire's temperature. She precisely maintained the optimal temperature for boiling the salt. Before long, a thick layer of white grains sat at the bottom of the stone pot. Tang Wu gently picked up a few grains and put them in her mouth. A pure saltiness stimulated her taste buds. There was none of the previous bitterness, spiciness, or other flavors. It was just pure saltiness. Tang Wu's hands trembled slightly. She said excitedly, "Dragon, with this kind of salt, our Tang tribe will definitely be the most attractive tribe in the great wilderness."